Welcome everyone. Today we will begin with the new module company accounts, and under that we will start with issue of shares. So before we go further into the concept of shares and the issue of shares, let us discuss the concept of company and what is the difference between company and the usual types of business that were in existence. So we have learned about many aspects with regard to business, and likewise we know that the ultimate objective of every business or every businessman or whoever conducting business is to maximize profit. And we have learned that if anyone who is interested in earning profit invest his hard earned money into the business in the form of capital and run his business so as to earn sufficient amount of profits, such as sort of business is known as sole proprietorship firm. There will be only one proprietor or a one owner or a businessman who deals his business activities. Even though it is a simple aspect and the sole proprietor can enjoy all the profits earned from his business, the thing is it has some issues. The issue is that since there is only one businessman or a single person oriented business, he has a limitation to bring about sufficient capital to the business, because a single person has a limitation to bring or raise capital to a business. So in order to solve that issue, two or more businessmen joined together as partners formed partnership firms. So sole proprietorship firm means the issues with regard to the sole proprietorship firm was overcome with the help of partnership firm system. In that case, there will be more than one shareholder partners, and they will join together and invest their hard earned money so as to reap profit from the business. It also went very well, but again there is another issue with regard to that. Even if there are two partners or if there is three partners, there is still a limitation in raising capital, because three persons has a limitation because they can't raise the capital beyond a certain limit. Even if they want to expand their business or even if they want to diversify their business, they still need capital. But the limitation is that there are only few people that can raise that much amount of capital. So in order to solve that issue, that issue means the partnership firm also faces the same issue with regard to sole proprietorship firm, where there are few partners, and if they want to raise huge amount of capital, there is limitation. So that limitation was overcome with the help of introduction of corporate systems or company forms of business. So in a company form of business, there will be large number of shareholders who has invested their amount in the form of capital in business. So the raising of capital in a company form of system is a easy task, and we can raise a large amount of funds. Since the business and the activities are in a larger scale, they can earn large amount of profit. So nowadays in almost all part of the world, everyone follows a company form of system. In Western countries, it is termed as corporate form of systems. These terms are used synonymously. Since we are in a global business world, we can use the term corporate, and during the course of our study, we will be using the term company as well as corporate synonymously. Both the terms remain the same. So in order to run a company sort of business, we need to know some of the accounting practices with regard to the company. And this module will lead you to learn how the company accounts are maintained, how the capital is raised, and many more adjustments and practices with regard to company accounts, and we will learn in detail about that aspects in this module. So let us begin our second module. Introduction. As I have mentioned earlier, the drawbacks of limited capital or limited managerial ability and unlimited liability or sole trading concern and partnership firms leads to the implementation of a new form of business organization, and the outcome was the emergence of companies. And as per your subject point of view, we will be using the term company or corporate, or a most common word that may be familiar to you, that is known as joint stock companies. All these terms are synonymously used. And as I have mentioned earlier, it is the most popular form of business organization around the world. And why this joint stock company is given more importance rather than other two systems or other systems is that a joint stock company is a form of business organization which has facility or the ability to raise huge amounts of capital. How they are raising or how they are able to make huge amount of capital, that is through the issue of shares. That is the concept which we are going to learn in detail in this module, that is issue of shares. And you might have heard about the term public limited concern, private limited concerns, like that. As far as an issue of shares is concerned, a public limited company is free to invite the public to buy its shares, whereas a private limited company issues shares informally by personal contact between directors and investors. That is just as a part of your common logic knowledge. I have mentioned that. We will discuss about the further cases with regard to joint stock company, and within that the issue of shares likewise. So what is meant by a company, or otherwise known as a joint stock company? The Section 3 subsection of Companies Act of 2013 mentioned that a company formed and registered under the Companies Act is known as a joint stock company or a corporate, or simply we use the term company. So what is the meaning and definition? Now, right now we have mentioned the definition with regard to the law or act, but let us explain that definition in a meaningful way. So what is joint stock company, or otherwise known as company? It is a voluntary association of persons formed through a process of law, that is known as Companies Act, for undertaking a business venture. Its capital is divided into number of transferable shares. It is an artificial person in the eyes of law with perpetual succession. Persons forming the company are called shareholders. Liability of the shareholders of a company is usually limited to the face value of shares held by them. So this is the meaning of that particular definition. Now let us explain in detail what is the terms and points that has been mentioned in that particular explanation. So joint stock company is a voluntary association of persons. It is actually some person join together and form a company as per the rules and regulation. There is no compulsory rules that 30% must join together and form a company. There are no such rules. There are certain group of people who are interested, they can join together and form a company. So that is known as voluntary association of persons formed through a process of law. Process of law means as per the Companies Act. Its capital is divided into number of transferable shares. I hope you have heard about these shares. In a company form of business, they can raise capital by issue of shares. Shares may be the certain value of the company that are divided into certain denominations. It will be issued to the public. Whoever want to buy the shares of the company can invest the amount in this business. That is how a company raises its capital. It is an artificial person. You have learned about the term artificial person because it doesn't have any flesh or bone. It is a person created by law. Company, if there is a KSEB, it is a company created by law, but it is not a person, it's a company. So artificial person created by law with perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means whatever happens to its members or whatever happens to any of the shareholders, it doesn't affect the working of the company. It will continue to work for an indefinite period of time as per the legal boundaries. So that is known as perpetual succession. Persons forming the company are called shareholders. Shareholders means the whoever who want to invest their hard-earned money in the particular company is known as shareholder. That person will buy the shares of the company, and how they will become the shareholders of the company. Whoever buying the shares of a company is known as shareholders. And liability of the shareholders of a company usually limited to the face value of the shares held by them. For example, if I am buying 100 shares of a certain company, so my liability with regard to the company is only up to 100 shares. I need not have to worry about any liability above 100, that is 101. I don't have to worry about the 101 amount. I have to worry about 100 shares with regard to the liability of the concern. Liability with regard means if the company goes into loss like that, I have to suffer only up to the shares held by them, me. That is the concern. So these are the basic concepts with regard to the joint stock company. Now let us go to the main characteristics of a company. First one, separate legal entity. As I have mentioned, a company has a separate legal existence apart from its members. Therefore, a company can contract, sue, and be sued in its corporate name and capacity. Because company and its members are two different persons, company is having a separate identity. If a third person who has any issue with the company can directly file a case in the name of the company. Usually we are filing a case in a court against a person or like that. But in case, since the company has a separate legal existence, you can file a complaint in the name of a company, even if it is a artificial person. Company is actually an artificial person. It is not a living thing. Still, you can file a complaint against a company. Because why? Because of its separate legal entity. Limited liability. I have mentioned about the term limited liability. Liability of every shareholder of a company is limited only to the face value of shares held by him. If a certain person has 100 shares of a certain company, he is liable only up to the 100 shares of the company, not anymore. The personal property of the shareholder is not liable for the debts of the company. Capital contribution. The authorized capital of a company is fixed by its memorandum, and it can neither be increased nor decreased except by compliance with the procedure laid down by the law for the same. You can't simply increase the capital requirement of a company. As per the rules and regulation, there is a certain pro forma that is known as a memorandum. If, as per the memorandum, you can fix a certain amount of capital that is required by the business or a particular company, and you can raise capital up to that fixed amount. You cannot increase your capital requirement or you cannot decrease your capital requirement against as per the rules stated in the memorandum. So that is known as with regard to capital contribution. Once the capital is set as per the memorandum, it cannot be changed, neither increased or decreased. Perpetual succession, I have mentioned earlier, it means continued existence. Its existence is not affected by the death, insanity, or insolvency of any of the members of the company. If anything happens to members, it is the issue of the member. It will not affect the working of a company. That is known as perpetual succession. Distribution of profits. The profits of a company are distributed in strict conformity with the legal provisions for the same. That means the payment of dividend is calculated as a percentage of paid up value of shares or at a rate per share. You might have heard the term 5% of equity shares or 10% of preference shares, either in your smaller classes or any of the area in which you have learned in your commerce life. So that percentage means every shareholder who have invested their money in the shares of a company will be predetermined with a rate of dividend that is allotted to those shareholders. Dividend means every company is working for the purpose of earning profit. If these profits belongs to whom? These profits are belong to owners of the concern. Who are the owners of the concern? Whoever invests their funds in the business. So whoever invests their funds in the business is known as shareholders. So profits belongs to shareholder. So it doesn't mean that whenever the company earns profit, the same amount is given to the shareholder. It is not like that. At the time of buying the shares of the company, they have a prefixed rate for each type of shares. That is 10% on equity shares or 15% on preference shares, likewise. So whoever who purchases that particular shares is eligible for that particular percentage of profits, and providing those profit in the form of percentage of their share capital is known as dividend. So distribution of profit is always on the basis of percentage with regard to the share held by them. That is known as dividends. That is issuing the profits to the shareholders in the form of dividend. Common seal. It is another important factor. Common seal. In simple terms, we can use it as identity of the company or signature of the company. Actually, the common seal is a symbol of the company in simple terms. In colloquially, we use signature of the company or identity of the company likewise. So why there is a need for a common seal? Because company, even though it is an artificial person created by law, it cannot sign the document, because only a human being can sign a document. And we have mentioned that whenever a company is formed, an artificial person is formed. It's a person, but it is an artificial person. Can an artificial person sign? No, they can't. So since it cannot sign the document in the same manner as a natural person would do, in order to enable the company to sign its documents or to authorize the documents issued by the company, it is provided with a legal arm, otherwise known as common seal, or otherwise known as the unique identity of the company. The common seal is fixed on all documents by the person authorized to do so who also puts his signature for and on the behalf of the company. In simple terms, we can use a seal by the company. Every company will have a seal, identification mark that depicts the identity of the company. That is known as common seal. And above the common seal, whoever in charge of the company will give their signature. That is a procedure for authorizing a document issued by a company or any of the document related to a company. That is known as common seal. And the need for common seal is because a company cannot sign. Only a human being can sign. So in order to identify the company, a seal is used. That is known as common seal. Next one, transferability of shares. Transferability of shares means the capital of a company is divided into small denominations called shares, subjected to certain conditions as per the legal provisions of the Companies Act. These are freely transferable. We will learn about the transferability of shares in detail during the course of our study. Right now, just remember that shares of the company are transferable. Annual audit. We have heard about the term audit. Audit means periodical verification of the accounts of the business is known as audit. And annual audit means, since the company is a artificial person created by law, as the same Companies Act persists that every company must conduct annual audit, and it should be compulsory. Maintenance of books. We have heard about the term maintenance of books. There are large number of books that has to be kept within the company as part of maintenance of accounts. So to maintain the prescribed set of books as per the law, and Companies Act persists that every company must maintain proper books of accounts, and a company is required by law to keep a prescribed set of books of account, and whoever fail to maintain that certain books has to pay fine or penalty as per the regulations of Companies Act. So it is very compulsory for a company's point of view to maintain the prescribed set of books that is mentioned in the Companies Act. Next one, separation of ownership and management. We have mentioned that even though the company is formed by the persons, the company has a separate existence, persons have separate existence, otherwise known as separate legal entity. We have learned about that in the first characteristic, separate legal entity. So company is a separate identity. Whoever manages the company is also have a separate identity. So the owners are usually scattered over a wide area, because in a company, shares may be purchased by people all around the world. A person from any part of the world can buy the shares of any company as per the rules and regulations. So the owners are usually scattered all over the world. So they entrust the management, a certain management, to control the activities of the business to a selected team of members, that is known as shareholders. And these shareholders or group of shareholders who manage the activities of the business is known as board of directors. Remember, the supreme control of the activities of the business is controlled by the board of directors, and this board of directors includes the shareholders of the concern. Not only mere shareholders, these shareholders are selected by the all shareholders of the concern. So they represents the whole shareholders of the business. Right to access books of accounts. Right to access books of accounts means, I have mentioned that in a business or in a company there will be large number of members who are scattered all around the world. At the same time, each member has the right to inspect the books of accounts of the concern. So every member or every shareholder has a right to access the information of the company. The right of the shareholder of the company to inspect its books of account is governed by a separate association, otherwise known as Articles of Association. We will discuss in detail the concept of Articles of Association in the coming sessions. So, as I have mentioned earlier, every shareholder have a right to get or to collect the informations relating to the company from the board of directors by way of periodic reports of the company. So these are the major characteristics with regard to the a joint stock company. I hope you have understand the concept of the meaning of company. What is the difference between a company and other forms of business, especially a sole proprietorship concern and a partnership concern? How a company of system is introduced, and what are the needs that led to the implementation of company form of business? So just go through all these aspects. We will discuss about the further theoretical aspect relating to the joint stock company and with regard to the issue of shares in the coming sessions. If you have any queries, please let me know.